Man United. Amorim defends. Man United 1-1 West Ham. Red Devils let lead slip as they fail to seize another opportunity to climb above mid-table mediocrity. Manchester United seem to have developed a fear of heights every time they have a chance to climb close to the top four, and it continued at a deflated Old Trafford last night. Just when it looked as though Diogo Dalot would emerge as the unlikely match winner, United caved in again to concede a 83rd-minute equaliser from Sungu to Magassa for a West Ham side still languishing in the relegation zone despite salvaging a point. It was the Frenchman's first goal since joining the Hammers in the summer, cancelling out Dalot's first in the Premier League at Old Trafford after 7.5 years at United. It has been quite the response from Dalot, who won both free kicks that led to United's goals at Crystal Palace on Sunday after Ruben Amorim remarked that he was far from the best in one of those brutally candid moments we have come to expect from him. But any sense of satisfaction was lost as United once again failed to hold onto their lead. It happened when they drew against Tottenham and Nottingham Forest last month, when they were also within touching distance of the top four. Opportunity knocked again when Everton came to Old Trafford last week, but United lost at home to 10 men. The win at Palace is their only success in the last 5 games. Bottom-of-the-table Wolves are next up, followed by a strangely out-of-sorts Bournemouth, so an infuriated Amorim can only hope his players learn to seize their chance to rise above the mid-table melee and challenge for Europe. This was a difficult night, from the moment he gave teenager Aiden Heaven his first league start of the season in the absence of Matthijs de Ligt and Harry Maguire, to Magassa silencing Old Trafford towards the end. Heaven, whose previous outing was for the under-21s against Solihull Moors last week, was booked for a reckless and needless early challenge on Jared Bowen. He looked tentative against Bowen and the more physical threat of Callum Wilson from that moment on, and it was no surprise to see him replaced by Lenu Yoro at half-time. At that point, United were once again struggling to break down opponents who defend deep despite having 65% of the possession. It took a block from Casemiro at full stretch to deny Mateus Fernandes before the home side upped the tempo midway through the half. Brian Bumo forced Alphonso Areola to backpedal and tipped the ball out for a corner with a disguised effort that was curling under the crossbar, and Bruno Fernandes shaved the post with a scissor kick after former United defender Aaron Wan-Bissaka, impressive on his return to Old Trafford, cleared off the line when Joshua Zirkzee guided a cross from Amad Diallo goalwards with his right thigh. Dalot broke the deadlock in the 58th minute after Casemiro spread the ball out to Diallo on the right and then received it back from the Ivorian. West Ham's Fernandes managed to take the sting out of his shot, but the ball landed at the feet of Dalot 8 yards out and he was coolness personified, controlling it with one touch of his right foot and dispatching a clinical finish past Areola that even Wan-Bissaka couldn't block. Dalot went off injured shortly afterwards to be replaced by Patrick Dorgu, and Amorim then sent on Manuel Ugarte and Mason Mount in attempt to see the game out. It didn't work. United's defending became increasing ragged and they cracked 7 minutes from the end of normal time. Much has been made of their set-piece prowess in the build-up to this game, so it was galling to be undone by a corner. Substitute Andy Irving, who had just been brought on by Nuno, delivered to the near post and Bowen's flick was creeping in until Nasser Mazraoui scrambled it off the line. Magassa's only attempt until then had been a wild shot into the side netting, but he was in the right place at the right time to guide the ball inside the post. So United move up 1 to 8th in the table when they could have gone 5th. It is becoming a familiar story and a painful one at that. Ruben Amorim could not hide his frustration after a 1-1 draw with West Ham United at Old Trafford. Diogo Dalot's second-half opener put us on course for 3 points, only for Sungu to Magassa to snatch an equaliser after Nasser Mazraoui cleared a Jared Bowen header off the line. There was inevitable dejection at the final whistle and the boss was clearly annoyed to see the chance to move up to 5th in the Premier League passed up. With the Reds currently 8th after 14 games, see some of what Ruben had to say in his interviews with Sky Sports and MUTV. Thoughts on the display? I think it was not constant. We had good moments and we lost a little bit in the first half and a little bit in the second half. After the goal, we lost, a little bit, the control of the game. We should have closed the game when we scored the first one. The game was in control, we knew it. Let's defend far from the box. But any set pieces can be a problem with the differences in height in the team. We could do it but we could not maintain the ball after the first goal. What was the problem? It's just second balls. When they kick the ball. We should be better, Mateus, Cunha. running with the ball and they're winning the ball, and then have Jared Bowen making the runs. You can control that with that type of game, but we should be better with the ball after the first goal. We had a big opportunity with Mateus Cunha. We were near the box, but then the crosses were not good. The characteristics of the players sometimes inside the box are not enough to score from that position. Points dropped. Details like Everton, the last game at home, and today. It's 5 points we lost in details in games, when we have everything in our favor. So, again, it's really frustrating. Can we get the details right? The details will make the difference. Sometimes, the details are the hardest part to work on. If you look at our game, there are so many moments we feel that we have so much to grow. That is the focus. We need to deal with this frustration and work for the next one. Ham's substitution before their goal. It's not an excuse. The player changed, but we know what to do in every situation. When the game is 83 minutes old, we need to close the game and not suffer a goal. What's next? Everything is important. Every game is important. We need to win the next one. We always have to win games. We need to improve even more and to give bigger steps in order to win more games in a row.